Here are the KTN News, and we are talking to two passionate gentlemen. That is Francis Ngira. He calls himself Ulstad Kimathi Okelo on Facebook, and of course Milton Nyakundi, a seasoned journalist. Before I talk about what is happening at FIFA, quickly I want your thoughts. Do you think as a media in Kenya, are we doing enough to expose the rot, to ensure that the sports federations, and especially FKF, which has really been indicted in the past few months, are we doing enough to expose what needs to be done and what's not going on right at the FKF? Milton.
Well, I honestly believe that we are doing what we should, but we haven't done enough. Unfortunately, the independence of the media practitioners is in question. Only a few of us have been able to show the capacity and the guts to try and have a go at what is happening. So I honestly believe that there is a lot more ground that needs to be covered before anything else happens. But yes, I would say that there are few of us who are doing well enough, who are trying our level best, albeit under very difficult circumstances. I think, and I want to be pragmatic about this. The threats that sometimes come from Kandanda House and those who pay homage to the leadership there, sometimes make it difficult for certain caliber of journalists to, to hold their horses and not say things as they are. But yes, there are those who are doing well enough, and I, at a risk of sounding like I'm blowing my own trumpet, I think I have taken the war to the doorstep of those in governance, especially in football, as can be attested in SDT 3 and 5, as well as number 7. And then there's, there are new matters that we have filed, and we hope that we will be able to get this over and done with as soon as possible.
What about Frank Ngira? You are always the man behind the cameras, and I didn't expect you to be this articulate, although I have known you for quite some time. But you see this stuff, happening. Do you think the journalists in this country, the media in this country, has taken the bull by its horns and exposed the rot in the sport?
I think the media is, in a way, condoning what is going on in our game today. We are so obsessed with match reports. We have forgotten about what we really need to do. That, I mean, if we do not do, we will never have match reports to file. So, and Robin Troskin, I mean, all this can be summed up in what I'm just about to say. If you see a technical person like me come from behind the camera to in front of the camera, this is my first television interview.
Yes.
I mean, on national television. There is a problem. There's a huge problem. We need to improve. We are the ones oiling the pulleys of corruption in this country. We need to do something as media practitioners, because there's a reason why we are the fourth estate. We need to do something.
Okay.
And we are doing badly. We've punched low. In fact, in the last 4 years, we are so obsessed with what does not matter. We need to go to what matters. And what matters is how the game is managed. If your media skills, or rather if your skills do not help to change lives in this country, and don't just cover the game, change with an aim to impact some sustainable, meaningful change.
Thank you. As we head towards the end of this show, there have been developments in Switzerland which are really, beginning to shake the FIFA house in Zurich. And the Attorney General of Switzerland, that's a high-ranking official, has offered to resign. That was on Friday because of inappropriate meeting with Gianni Infantino, who is really coming under scrutiny. And in 2015, the United States indicted FIFA officials for what they called a criminal enterprise within football. And when you come back home here, we are having problems, with the management of the game. Football Kenya Federation elections have already stalled. Do you think that those waves are being felt here and that we need change at the top and also locally? Frank, as you wind up.
You know what we say with the camera work, we say when home is not intact, it will be seen on the screen. When FIFA is not doing well, it will reverberate and you will see it in its member associations. So what is happening here, I think it's a problem, but a small problem to the leadership in Zurich. And that could be the reason why they're not that really preoccupied with this. They are preoccupied with what is actually happening to them. So if you see, and for the Attorney General in Switzerland to offer to resign, it tells you that, I mean, Switzerland is a developed country in terms of values and just even the way, I mean, what the law means to them. And here, I mean, we have people resigning to pave way for investigations. Then the internal mechanisms clear their names of any wrongdoing. But why didn't they take over back their roles back? Why did we have to promote the communication director to SG's CEO if the guy was cleared of any wrongdoing? There's a problem.
There's a problem. Milton, as we wind up also, we've seen what has happened in Switzerland, the Attorney General offering to resign. We've seen what has been going on in France, authorities taking up football matters and prosecuting them to the end. We've seen that in the United States. But here in Kenya, nobody cares about the business of sport in this country. Is it that our authorities do not understand where football merges with the finer lines of the economic prosperity of this country?
Well, I think this is a conversation we've had with you, Robin, a few times. And my position is that locally, I think the authorities do not seem to have the right script in terms of how the binding statutes, the binding concepts of international law, meet with the Kenyan law, and that is where the problem is. And again, this is where the media can play a role in terms of creating that link, helping to link those two concepts of law so that the people can be held accountable. Okay. And I say so because we need to have this conversation. We need, and I like what former president of the Liberian FA, Mr. Musa Biliti has done, the letter that he has written to the African Union and the United Nations, is that it is finally coming,
yes.
The chicken are coming home
we
to
have,
us, that
we have to go,
the
Milton.
football enterprise must be reformed, and we must have a conversation. The scarecrow of third-party interference that
yes.
has been used many a time to deter governments, to deter authorities from holding those in football governance accountable. Yes. This is something that must be revisited. We need to revisit.
We hope
need to ask ourselves
to have that conversation further,
Milton, that Mr. So Biliti has brought to the fore yes. in his letter to the UN and the AU. Beyond that, I think I would want to come closer home.
Thank you.
We have, laws that can be applied. One of them is the
Thank you, Milton, and we will be able to take that conversation further next time. And as you've heard, it's been really hot here, and the agreement is that there's need for law, to take its course and ensure that all the institutions abide by the law and ensure that the management of the game is up to date. I've been talking to Francis Ngira and Milton Nyakundi, who have given us an elaborate, view of what they think. And now we are bringing on our colleague, Michael Gitonga, for the rest of the program.